Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on TIP International Radio. I'm your host, Leah Masten, and our amazing co-host who has joined the TIP International Radio podcast full-time. And we are so honored to have her. Originally from Namibia, she was crowned Miss Universe in 1992. Please welcome Michelle McLean.
Hello, Leah. Hi, listeners. It's so good to be here. Thanks for that lovely introduction.
You're welcome. So happy to have you.
So how have you been, Leah?
So good. Yeah, doing great. You?
Very good, very good. And always excited to be here and, hear the inspiration from all these amazing people, part of, the top professionals. So it's just great.
Absolutely. And top industry professionals, TIP International Radio Podcast is here to showcase prestigious top professionals from all industries all over the globe to share their experience and stories of success.
We have a very special guest here today, returning back. Now, I haven't met you, Caroline, but it is such an honor, such a pleasure. Welcome back to the show. You are a renowned top healthcare professional executive who is widely known for her passion in healthcare. You are a fearless leader and a sought-after speaker, coach, and trainer. But you've also been honored by the International Association of Top Professionals at the annual awards gala at the Bellagio Hotel for your selection as Top Healthcare Executive of the Year and Empowered Women of the Year award. Wow. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Executive Director of the John Maxwell team and Senior Director of Practice Integrations for US Anesthesia Partners Incorporated. Everyone, please welcome back our beautiful, our wonderful, inspirational Caroline Rubin. Welcome and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and thank you, Leah, for having me back. I mean, this is a great honor, so appreciate it. And thank you for that great introduction. My goodness.
We're so excited to spend some time with you. Carolyn, you've dedicated over 25 years of your life to the healthcare and business industry. Tell us what first got you started in the industry and how have you seen the industry evolve?
Oh, man, it's been a long time. It's kind of funny because I actually started out, real estate, my own restaurant, kind of, all over the place. And then I actually went into pharmacy in 1991 as a pharmacy technician. Really kind of got tired of being yelled at for the price of drugs and decided, I think I'll go the other direction. So I became a medical assistant in 1994 and really enjoyed, working with the physicians, working with the patients, really just getting to know them and being able to help them, be able to just take care of them. At the same time, my grandpa was diagnosed with cancer. My stepdad had 5-way bypass surgery. It really kind of took a turn, at that point in time. I went in more on the operational side, started really working with the insurance companies, working with the physicians on the business side, realizing that they really, while they went to school to be great doctors, they weren't really trained how to deal with the insurance companies, how to really, get them to do what they needed to be done to take care of the patients so they could be financially taken care of. So knowing that that's where the real need was so that we could 100% take care of a patient, both clinically and financially, it's kind of where my heart went at that point. We really need to make sure that from the standpoint of the patient, they can really focus on being taken care of and really getting better regardless of what's going on. I spent 25 years on the oncology side, working with cancer patients and making sure they had access to their medications, making sure they had access to care, making sure they could get their treatments, they could get their tests. It didn't matter where they needed to go, and I just needed to make sure that could happen. And then I went into just kind of every field that you can imagine, but and I'm here where I am now, but it was just very important to me that they could be empowered to just concentrate on themselves and let the physicians concentrate on just taking care of them clinically. And so it's just kind of the way it all evolved.
Well, Caroline, that's so fascinating for me, not coming from America, coming from Namibia. in Southern Africa, and it's a whole different healthcare system entirely. But
Yes.
when we moved here 7 years ago, I really did find these stumbling blocks. And so you are doing a great job, especially when people are so sick and they're already stressed out. You don't want more stress with the insurance side. Right?
And no, and that's what they were finding. I mean, all the paperwork that they have to go through, all the, authorizations and, certifications. And it was just difficult trying to get them the medication. And some of them, just to get, the drug that they needed, it was, do they need, a certain drug level or a certain, lab test? Do they have to have a certain, iron score or whatever it was? It got to the point where it was just impossible for a patient to get their medication. And we saw too many of them end up in the hospital because they couldn't get it. And enough was enough. So somebody had to do something.
Well, you know what? Being an executive is one thing, but you're also a trainer, you're a coach. How do you juggle and you're a grandma and obviously an amazing mom. So how do you juggle being a businesswoman, a mother, and a glamour?
I'm passionate about everything that I do. And I think that that's what keeps me going, right? So love my kids and my grandkids. And I have a great grandma. I'm a great grandma too. So I have a great granddaughter. And she's
family.
I know. But they keep me going. They are the apple of my eye, so to speak. I would do anything and everything for them. But I'm very passionate about my work as well. And they're very appreciative of that also. They know they can pick up the phone at any point and go, Mom, what's this? Or Grandma, what's that? And, and we can have that conversation. But, it's a lot of fun to just pull them all together and go on a vacation as well. And we take a trip and, we can go to the museum or we go to the, to the arts and we just have a fabulous time. And, I'm just passionate about life, and you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. You don't know what, the outcome is. So I just embrace each and every day and I live it to the fullest. I love every minute about it. And I'm going to do everything I can to get every second out of it I can. So I guess that's my outlook, and I'm just going to breathe it all in.
You mentioned being passionate several times there. Is that one of your secrets to success?
Yep.
What would be the advice that you would give to someone starting out in your industry?
First, you got to find your love, right? You've got to find that passion. I have on my website, keep your strength and live your dream. And first, you've got to find that. If you don't go into it for the right reason, if you don't go into it with the right passion, you're not going to be happy. Too many people will get into a career for the wrong reason. They'll go into it thinking, I want the paycheck, or I go into it because somebody told me I needed to go into this field, or, it sounded like the great thing I needed to do. And they're just never really, where they want to be. Every single day I can come to work with a smile on, and people will ask me that. They're like, you're always smiling, you're always happy, and I'm like, that's just who I am. I want people to see that because that's who I am. And people have to find that. If they don't have it, it's hard for someone to really be successful. They're going to go home at the end of the night and they're exhausted. They're stressed. They just don't have the strength to spend time with their kids or to, have that night out or whatever it is that they want to do, because they're stressed, and they're stressed because of how a day went. It's not that we don't have bad days or that we don't have stressful days, but if you really love what you do, then it's going to be easier to deal with. It's going to be easier to tolerate. If you get into the healthcare field right now, it's crazy. You got a pandemic on one side, you got healthcare insurance companies that are trying to make their own rules, and you've got legislation that's trying to figure out do they want one healthcare for everyone, or do they want to leave it all where it's at? So you don't know what each day is going to bring, right? You just don't know what you're going to do, but you can't fear that. You just have to be aware of it, and you have to know how to deal with it, and you have to know how to address it. So whatever field you go into, be passionate about it. And you have to continue to learn as well. You have to continue to grow. This year, I've taken a mini MBA course. I've gone through a healthcare leadership training. I've gone back to Duke University and taken courses. Don't be afraid to continue to learn. You've got to continue to grow and stay fresh and stay, just stay healthy, stay growing, stay passionate. Don't get stagnant, because if you do, you're just going to be unhappy. You just got to continue to be out there. And don't be afraid of it. We've got a pandemic. Wear a mask, get your shots, do what you're supposed to do, but don't crawl under a rock. Don't stop living. Life's too short.
Well, Caroline, that's why you are a motivational speaker. And throughout your illustrious career, we just mentioned a few of your accolades, and here are a couple more, right? You've been honored and featured in magazines worldwide. This past year, we heard that you were selected as Healthcare Executive of the Decade. You will receive the IAOTP's Lifetime Achievement Award, and you'll be on their top 50 Fearless Leaders publication. That's obviously the right place for you to be. You graced the front of the magazine. You were featured on the famous Reuters building. That is just incredible, in Times Square. And you'll be honored at the IAOTP's annual awards gala dinner in December. So congratulations on all these accolades and awards. Now, what would you say has been the highlight of your career and your life with all of this going on?
Everybody I meet, all of the awards, being on the billboard in New York, that was like absolutely fabulous, and something you never ever think is going to happen to you. But I think probably the highlight is seeing my dad's eyes light up, right? Or my mom. So that's probably like the key, when you see your family just kind of like go, oh my gosh. But, when you meet everybody, or, they see your picture and they're going, hey, aren't you, it's just kind of that, like, wow, I just never ever thought that would happen to me. I was the second of 6 kids growing up. We grew up on a farm in a town that had 1,800 people. You just don't ever expect that to happen. But, it's kind of cool that it did. It's kind of cool to be able to have the billboard that, you can have on your website, and people go to that and go, wow, that's pretty cool. But, all the awesome people that I have met, all of the friends that I have made, all of the colleagues that, I can pick up a phone at any point in time and call and say, hey, I need some assistance, or I need somebody to come on and speak with me, or I'm having this event, whatever it is. I know I've got somebody there that I can talk to. And that right there, that's worth it all. That's probably the key thing right there. And I've got this fabulous organization now called IAOTP. Come on, what can be better than that?
What a tribe. What a support system.
Fabulous tribe it is. That is the top right there.
Well, Carolyn, with everything that you have going on, I don't know if you even have time for hobbies, but what do you like doing for fun? What do you...
I actually do have hobbies. So we love to travel. First off, my husband and I, we travel. We usually cruise, a week to 2 weeks at a time. But right now, of course, that's kind of out there. But we travel still in the States and go see the kids or grandkids. But we also love to do a lot of travel on our own. But I also used to do a lot of half marathons. I haven't done those for a little while, but we're back into doing our virtual walks, virtual 5Ks. We actually get to do a real 5K in October, and 10Ks. So I think right now, since January, I've done about 48 virtual 5Ks and 10Ks. And so back into those and looking forward to getting back to my first half marathon. So that's what I'm training for right now. So love doing all of that, love music, dancing, reading, so you name it, anything that has to do with the arts, we're there. So anything that's fun. We just get out there and have fun.
Okay, I'm trying to visualize this virtual marathon. Can you sit on your couch and just basically watch everybody else do it?
No,
I would be on board. I could do
you have a bit. No, they send you a bib number and you get out there, you do the walk. And right now I'm doing one for Stop Soldier Suicide. It's a 100-mile virtual walk. And it's through the month of September. And so I think I have 69 miles completed so far. So we go in and we report our miles. You show your GPS map where you've completed. And so I think right now I've got about 69 miles out of the 100 completed so far. So.
Wow, that's incredible. So everybody listening, I mean, this is something you can do. Don't say you can't get out there and do events.
That's exactly right. And all of the virtual walks that I do are for charity. So I've done them for Stand Up for Cancer, for the children's charities, for Feed America, for the frontline workers with COVID. So everything that I do benefits some type of charity.
So Leah, do you have any further questions for Caroline? Because I mean, I could go on forever. I mean, I was going to get a cup of tea and we could sit here. And
Yeah.
I've got my cake in the oven. No, I don't bake.
Yeah.
Talking about that. So what is your favorite food? I mean, let's just get real here. I mean, do you cook? Do you have time to cook?
Oh, I love to cook. I love to bake. I love to cook. Don't ask me to sew anything, but you know, I can't do it. I can't do that for nothing. You know, I absolutely love cooking and baking. I think probably my favorite, my tastes have always like changed because I'll go from like, I want to just be like the bad girl and just go for, you know, give me all of the like the pastas and the fresh breads and all of that, you know, but then it's like, no, my healthy side says, oh yeah, but you can't do that. So you've got to get good.
But you can't because you do virtual races.
That's right. You know, so, but I love baking, especially like fresh pies and cookies. And, you know, so at Christmas time, we do all of the candies and the cookies and the breads and the cakes and all of that. And we'll take that and give it away to people. And then at home, just making the pastas and I'll sit down and we'll make homemade pizzas or, you know, we'll make, you know, I love to do a prime rib roast. And when I had my restaurant, that was probably the one thing that always sold out was the prime rib. And we do of course, the normal, the meatloaves and, you know, the catfish cooks and all of those. And they always seem to sell out, but you name it, we'll make it. You know, I made crab cakes the other night and we made lobster tail over the weekend. And so fresh seafood, anytime, any type of fresh seafood, I love to cook that. So, but.
Well, I must have missed something there because you said you had a restaurant.
I did.
All of this, you had a restaurant. Now that is a time-consuming, really difficult business.
Yeah.
How did you have a restaurant?
I actually owned a restaurant before I got into healthcare. So my kids were younger, and I had a restaurant and ran that for about 2 years. And decided that, you know, I wanted to do something a little bit different. And that's when I went into healthcare. So, but yeah, I've done a lot. So I took after my grandpa. My grandpa was an entrepreneur. I went right straight after, followed kind of after his footsteps. He had he sold real estate. I sold real estate. He actually, I did not go after the laundromat though, and the vending machines and stuff. I let him keep that piece of it. I didn't want anything to do with that. You know, but
Cherry picked him.
Yeah, I did, you know, but he was my mentor growing up. He was my mentor. And, you know, a lot of success that I have today is due to my grandpa. I mean, he would listen to me hours on end. We would talk hours on end. You know, he provided a lot of guidance. And when he ended up with cancer, it was a hard hard time. And but we would still sit and have a lot of great conversations. When I went into healthcare and was really going down the path of which way do I go, as far as, do I stay in medical assisting? Do I go into operations? How do I, really make the best of where I'm at? And his advice, and he was really struggling as well, because he was not getting doctors to listen to him as far as what he needed them to hear, because he was so concerned about my grandma and everything. But his advice to me at that point was, when I go to work each day, I walk through the door with the eyes of a patient. And if I always do that, I will always be successful. And I live by those words every single day. I carry those in my heart. I share them as often as I can, because that's what it's all about. I mean, it's really, truly, whether it's a patient, whether it's a friend, whether it's a colleague, it doesn't matter what business you're in. If you walk through the door with the eyes of the other person and think about them, you'll always be successful in life. And that right there is what it's all about. Put others first.
Philosophy. That is an incredible philosophy to have, to understand someone else's position.
Yes.
Your grandpa sounds like just what a special, special person.
He was very special.
Yeah.
He was very special. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have him down here anymore, but I still have him. So
yeah.
What would he have said would be the difference between an entrepreneur and a business person? Because he seemed to understand both those parts of the world, right?
He did. He did. And he would say, probably the biggest difference between the two would really be how they represent themselves, right? So I could watch my grandpa sit down and have a conversation with somebody when he was had his rental houses, and he would listen to someone who would want to buy a house, for example, someone who wanted to be a homeowner, and they'd get turned down at a bank because they just didn't have the credit, or they didn't have the down payment, or whatever it was. And he would sit down and he would listen to how they plan to pay for the house, how they plan to take care of the house. And, he would put this business plan almost together for them, which a banker should be doing, right? Which is your business person. And he would just do all of that and then sell them a house. So he would be that bank. But yet, he's not a businessman. He's not the banker. But yet he would make it happen. And years later, that person would come back. I mean, every month you would see them come in and just, make that payment and thank them. And I mean, but he had a way of just helping them understand, what their responsibility was and what they needed to do in order to make it. And, how many kids did they have? How much did they have for groceries? I mean, he just did it. He just laid it all out. But, if he had to say what was the difference between the two, he'd say, the difference between the two is really how do they represent themselves? Because it's really one and the same. Are you, I mean, one would say, no, I'm an entrepreneur because, I'm over here and I'm doing my own thing. I'm not working for a company. I have my own company. Well, I have my own company too, and I'm working for another company, so I've got best of both worlds. But, don't look at myself any different. I'm still out there doing my own thing. I'm doing what I love to do. I choose to do this over here because it's what I love to do. And I choose to do this over here because that's what I love to do. But, it's really, how do you represent yourself? Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I think it's kind of probably why I'm who I am.
Well, we have been so grateful to have you here today, Caroline, because you inspire so many people, and they just need to hear a story like this too. So many people feel, especially like you were saying about this time that we're living in, feel a little bit disillusioned, and so this just gives inspiration to so many people. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
you're very
you.
welcome.
you're infectious. You're so energetic and passionate, and love what yeah, so inspiring.
Well, thank you. And I thank you for having me. I appreciate that. So, I just love to, like I said, it's share the love, share the story, it's share the passion. It's really just share life. I mean, everybody just has to get out there and enjoy it, because it's not about really how much you do each day, as long as you just get out and do something, help somebody cross the street, help them, give them a smile. That's all it takes. Give somebody a smile.
Little acts of kindness.
Yep. That's all it takes.
I so agree with that philosophy. Smile. How much effort does that really take?
Yeah.
But Caroline, thank you. We look forward to seeing you at the gala dinner in December.
Yes.
It'll be fun.
That's exactly right. I will be there. So
Can't wait to see you again.
I know it'll be exciting. So thank you so much.
Yes,
Thanks,
thank you
and have
so much.
Yeah. Thanks again.